Hey guys, Dan here with Vidotech, and today we're talking about productivity. So who better to talk to about productivity than the maker of a productivity app, Vinoth from HoldX. Hey Vinoth, how are you?
Hey Dan, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks for asking. So for those of you who don't know, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So Vinoth Vinaya, co-founder and CEO at Hold. So I'm 29 from Norway. Love gadgets and working on tech that is actually helping us achieving our goal. Creator of Hold.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm a longtime fan of apps that make me more productive, from running multiple businesses myself to even what we're doing right here on the channel. So anything that helps me become more productive in any way, I'm a huge fan of. So could you tell us a little bit about why you created Hold?
Sure. So a bit of a backstory first. We created the first version of Hold. It's approximately 5 years ago when we were students. So we had this big problem, our ability to focus. We were constantly checking our phones like every 5, 10, 15 minutes.
Right.
And we knew that it had a bad impact on academic outcome, like learning outcome, but we continued to do it. And that's when we decided that we had to do something about it because we didn't control our attention. And to be honest, we spent 10 or 12 hours every day at campus. So when searching for solutions, we didn't find any. So we created our own solution. Basically, a simple app that rewarded you for not using your phone. So the way it worked, you got points for every 20 minutes you didn't, use your smartphone.
Right.
And those points you could exchange on the marketplace where you could get anything from free coffee from 7-Eleven to half price on the canteen, for instance. So it was built with taking into account game design and positive reinforcement, and it worked really good.
Yeah.
It worked really good for us ourselves, but also 40% of the students in Norway was onboarded organically 18 months into the kind of the launch. And long story short, 5 years later, we've helped more than 650,000 students to focus.
Wow. Crazy, huge number.
It's huge, but it's also what motivates us is the testimonials that we get from students on how our solution helped them to kind of focus and get through the uni days, I guess. And that led kind of to this new product, and a lot of our users who used Hold during their university time, they started to request a solution for kind of their new context, which is as a knowledge worker for most of them. And especially like in 2020 working from home, and that's when we started to develop Hold X, which is kind of the newest product. So just to tell a little bit about that, there's probably 1,000,001 productivity tools out there, and
Definitely,
books.
yeah.
And we didn't check all of them, but what we found out was that it's super complex. You have 50 different steps and things that you could do to improve your productivity, and most often you kind of get started, but you fall off pretty quickly because it's too complex. The upfront investments is too high. So what we wanted to do was to figure out how we could include the core elements that would lead to 80% of the progress in terms of productivity, because you don't need to do 101 different things in order to improve your productivity.
Right.
And in searching that, we kind of figured there are 3 elements that we needed to include in a product. Was helping people to plan their day, help them to execute without any distractions, because obviously more and more work is on the browser, and it's so easy to get distracted and go into a Reddit kind of thread or YouTube marathon.
Right. Yeah.
So having that clarity and distraction-free execution, and then give people the celebration throughout the day, because it's also about the motivation. So when you tick off kind of a task or a priority, we want to celebrate that moment. So you could go into the next priority with that, momentum and motivation. And that's kind of that was the starting point for HoldX. And we launched this version last year in October for kind of as a beta. Sorry, that was a long rant.
No problem at all. No, it's good to know the history of Hold and sort of how far it's come, and the fact that it's inspired by earlier adaptations like so many different apps are. I don't think people realize that this app that makes it big on the App Store always comes from some sort of humble beginning or some sort of unique need. So it's really great to hear about all of that. And I guess we should stop and really clarify. So for Hold X, where is that currently available in terms of platforms?
Yeah, so it's currently available as an extension, living on your Chrome browser or Microsoft Edge.
Right.
Those are the major ones, but it's also compatible with Vivaldi, which is also a really good browser, super fast. And what we often recommend people to use HoldX with the Vivaldi browser because of the speed, but also that's a company that puts users' privacy on the top of their agenda. So that's super important for us as well.
Definitely, yeah. And for HoldX, I've seen a ton of reviews on Product Hunt. Seems like a lot of people are raving about it. But could you tell us a little bit about, I guess, the customer response or how people have been taking this app since you launched in October?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've received a lot of positive feedback from people that, where we helped them we helped unlocking meaningful progress, which is great. I mean, that's probably one of the most rewarding parts with building, a product, to get that feedback. We also got a lot of feedback on areas to improve. Obviously, when we're trying to make a journey that is as simple as possible, while kind of balancing with enough depth to make kind of that productivity improvement or significant productivity improvement. It's hard because it's always kind of a balancing act, right?
Yeah.
And we got a lot of feedback on that. So the product isn't perfect at this moment. It would probably never be, but it's definitely progressing. And we see that our kind of surveys from users, it's improving. The results are improving steadily, which is great to see.
Yeah, incredible, especially with this new launch of 2.0, right? Like, it's only getting better and better every day.
Yeah, and it's great because, we're so fixated with the problem rather than how we solve it.
Right.
So when we implement changes based on users' input, it's great to see that it's actually improves the metrics and the, their kind of perception of the product as well. It's not like we change something and then we get a big backlash of users like coming back and wanting the old version or something like that. So that's great.
Great. And obviously it takes a village when you're creating anything. I mean, even with this channel, I never could have done every little bit of it all by myself from the beginning. Could you tell us a little bit about how many people were involved in making Hold?
Yeah, so our team is actually we're a very small team. We're 5, based out of Oslo and London.
Got it.
But we have this extended team. So our investors and advisors, amongst others, the founders of Kahoot. They've been super helpful in helping us with designing this solution, but also the previous one. And then obviously all the users, right? So on HoldX we have 1,000, a bit more than 1,000 users that is actively using it, but also the 650,000 students that we help from the first product. All the insights from that is put into this product. So you could say it ranges from 5-person team to 650,000 person team.
Definitely, yeah. So what would you say was the biggest challenge in the development of Hold?
Yeah, I think what I touched upon earlier around balancing between the depth and simplicity is definitely the hardest part, because it's easy to, as you work on it, as users get more used to that workflow, to implement more stuff that could improve productivity, but it then becomes really cluttered. So the kind of the journey becomes more complex and more suited to productivity ninjas, which is not our goal, right? So it's to balance that. I think that's been the biggest challenge by far. And then the second one, I guess, is also communicating productivity, because what is really productivity? And there are so many definitions, books and tools that claims to improve your productivity, but how do we communicate the gains? Like, so why do you want to be productive?
Is
it to progress in your career? Is it to get more time to spend with friends, family and hobbies? I mean, it could be a lot. So nailing that communication is something that is challenging. Definitely.
Yeah, and it is definitely this balance of like complexities and simplicity as you guys are developing for just the everyday user who wants to improve their productivity, whatever that means to them. So that definitely makes sense. Flipping the script a little bit though, what would you say is the most rewarding part about creating Hold?
Yeah, I guess that's basically getting feedback from users, from around the world, and getting the feedback that our software, our product is actually helping them achieving whatever they want to achieve, whether that's crushing at work or getting that 1 or 2 extra hours per day to spend with friends and family. It's really rewarding to get those meaningful kind of testimonials, more than any numbers or metrics. It's just that human kind of feedback, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm the same way, right? Like, I created this channel in hopes to build a community of people who like to talk about tech, aside from just the people in my life who don't really care about it as much. So I find it so rewarding when I have people leaving comments, and not even just locally, like nationally, globally, who are saying, thank you, this tip or this trick actually helped me in my life. Like, that sort of thing makes all of the work worth it to a degree. So I definitely get that. Yeah.
100%.
So if you had to pick, I guess, your favorite app, aside from Hold, can't choose Hold, if you had to pick one that you're using right now that you love, what would that be?
So that would probably be Asana.
Okay.
So it's a project management tool. It's everything connected to work is controlled from Asana, and it really helps to align the whole kind of the company towards a goal, but also kind of do that longer term planning, while Hold is really good for day-to-day prioritization and focus. Asana is better it's good for the longer term planning and aligning a team. No, it's a great tool. I've been using it for 4 years now.
Wow.
And it's also integrated with Hold. So
nice. So yeah, it all kind of comes full circle in a way, right?
Exactly.
Incredible. So aside from Hold, so what is the best advice that you've been given?
There are so many.
The hard questions are starting, yeah.
Exactly. No, I think, focusing on what matters the most, probably like pick your battles kind of thing, because
Uh-huh.
there's always so many things that you could do. And especially for you as a YouTube creator, but also for founders or anyone, you could do so many things, but if you try to chase them all, you'll the outcome won't be that good, but also you'll sit back with the feeling of failure because you
Right.
kind of try to do everything. So figuring out what is important when it comes to work and life, and then allocate the time accordingly. I think that's key, and that's been really helpful for me the last couple of years.
Definitely. Got it. So, all right. So you've got the platform here. Is there anything else that you want to say to subscribers? I mean, to the internet, generally speaking, young developers or anybody else that might be watching?
Yeah, sure. I mean, definitely check out the product. It will be great to get
Yeah.
your kind of feedback on it. But for all the developers out there, I guess we would like to encourage people to develop solutions that aligns with people's interest
Yeah.
and motivation. So we've seen a lot of platforms and services come up the last 10-20 years that are monetizing from maybe unethical kind of usage or addiction creating technology. We would like to encourage people to do the opposite, where we use the technology to kind of improve people's well-being but also help people achieve their goals rather than the opposite. That would be my message, I guess.
Yeah, and that's awesome advice. I think when it comes to developing for the right reasons and really going back to those humble, the problems that you're looking to solve and helping to accomplish them, for sure. That makes sense. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us here on the channel. I mean, I really appreciate it on behalf of me and everybody at Vidotech.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me here. It's been great.
All right, so to anybody who's watching right now, if you have any comments for Vinoth or about HoldX in general, leave a comment down below and we'll be sure to answer all of those. As usual, my general spiel, remember to hit the like button. It tells YouTube the videos like this don't suck. Hit subscribe to see more videos like this from me, as there's more Q&As that are going to be coming. We're going to close this off with a brief demo of Hold from Vinoth. So let's take a look at that.
After 200 interviews and 10,000 hours spent on research and development, we're super excited to release the biggest revamp in Hold's history. With your input, we've reduced the friction with 70%, and we're able to unlock the 6-hour workday. So you and I could crush it at work while having time for friends, family, and hobbies. Let's check it out. Firstly, we made the setup super simple. It takes less than 10 seconds to get started. Pick the categories or the specific websites that keeps you from getting things done. To add your tasks, simply write it in directly in the widget, or you could also sync it with your Asana account if you use that for project management. I have to complete the client pitch draft before creating the monthly sales report, so I'll just rearrange this list. The great thing about this widget is that you'll have the overview from anywhere on your browser. Once your plan is set, you'll start working on your top priority. Mine is the client pitch, and as you can see, Hold counts all the time I'm spending on this task, and throughout the session, Hold will keep me from visiting news or any social sites. If I need to take a quick break, I could do so from the widget. I'll get access to all the sites, and when the time is up, Hold will bring me back to the task at hand. When I've completed my task, Hold will provide me with a great feeling with celebrating gifts and also show my progress on the priorities for today. In addition to this, Hold also gives you a lot of interesting insights, such as when you're the most productive. For me, that's between 12 and 1 o'clock. So I'll make sure to schedule all my complex or important tasks during those hours. Furthermore, you could also look at a detailed breakdown of how you spent your workday and how much time you spent on each task. And finally, our favorite. With the calendar integration, you'll be able to timebox your entire day. Once you've scheduled the priorities, Hold will automatically nudge you, so you're working on the right task at the right time. We hope you like it and want to give Hold a try. Let us know what you think.